comes round 9 of Hello everyone, welcome to the feature match area one final time here on day 1 of Grand Prix Madison in Wisconsin. Rich Hagan and Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth. You are looking at two players who are not at 8-1, they are at 7-1, I can confirm.
Otherwise we'd be on the way to a restaurant.
Correct.
Or a hotel.
So hopefully someone will correct that for us. But these are at 7-1, and there is a reason that we have chosen the 7-1 rather than the 3-8-0 matches that are also in the feature match area. That is because, Marshall, Daniel Kachetti, former team member of Team USA at the World Magic Cup, has a pretty interesting deck.
Yeah, I haven't really seen one quite like this in sealed, because it's just hard to get we've seen, kind of pieces of a deck like this fall together, but Daniel's really kind of hit it out of the park with this thing.
Right. So, step 1, culling drone. Step 2, dominator drone. You're going to see quite a lot of colorless stuff going on, not going to lie. Courier Griffin on the other side. Libang Yu, incidentally, is, not just playing second fiddle. He wants to get to 8-1.
Yeah, Courier Griffin's going to do a reasonable job of So, of course, our players are both 7-0 coming in, or 7-1, excuse me, not 8-1 as it shows, because we're playing in our 9th round here, Rich, of course.
Right.
Make sure we get those graphics updated to 7-1.
Kachetti introduces the first of his green mana cards. He's going to look at the top 5 and see if he can find something useful. There you see a swamp. He checks his hand, which has a Swarm Surge in, Marshall.
Yeah, now you said that you've had a chance to look at his list, and he actually has 3?
No.
4?
No. Yes.
Oh my god, he's got 4 Swarm
This
Surge
is
in this
this
deck.
is a deck where Eldrazi Scion have scribbled out on them, sacrifice this for 1 mana.
And apparently the 1 is scribbled off on the 1/1 as well, because there are 3 ones with first strike.
That is correct. That is basically this is the one trick pony that has got Kachetti to 7-1, and it's quite a trick, as we sort of indicated way back in the preview show. Do you know what? I know it's not an instant, but I don't mind telling you that 33 power of first striking guys are coming at you in the next phase of my turn.
You don't mind telegraphing that?
I don't mind actually explicitly stating that to people. In fact, I quite look forward to doing so.
Yeah, Overrun's a sorcery too.
Right.
Didn't bother anybody there either.
No. So we'll see whether Kachetti can pull off that Sheena-Giggins, as we say, on camera. Meanwhile, Courier Griffin comes in from Libang Yu. Both these players will be back tomorrow for draft, when Kachetti could theoretically replicate this deck with some ease in draft. Cloud Manta comes down for Libang, so it's all in the air at that end. So in comes Culling Drone and Dominator Drone.
Yeah, I think that Daniel's probably happy to see that Libang decided to attack with his Courier Griffin, because it cleared the way for 2 more damage. He clearly will make either of these trades here. And what it indicates is that Libang thinks that he's going to win this race by attacking, and Daniel, I think, knows that that's probably not the case.
True.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, I'm with you.
He's just played an Eyeless Watcher here, which has added not 1 but 3 bodies to his battlefield, and if he has even 1 of the 4 copies of his mini overrun, he's going to be able to fire that off and probably scoop up the game in short order.
Yeah, like right now, if Libang attacks, that's almost certainly the end of the game.
That's game. And if he doesn't attack, or I should say, if he doesn't play something that affects the board, it's pretty much over.
He's coming in and thinking he's racing, and it's just comprehensively not happening.
No.
Yes. Yeah, well done. You've got 2 blockers. Now, to be fair, Kachetti only has 5 attackers, all of which are colorless. They'll all get +2/+0 and first strike. So Libang will be at 1, There is that.
Yeah. Now the other thing though
Just
is that,
possibly.
is that this is turn 5, and Libang has sort of carefully left up 2 mana there. And if you're in Daniel's seat, the card you're going to be thinking of, and by the way, here we go, Swarm Surge, is Gideon's Reproach. That's the card that Daniel's going to be aware of, at least as an option.
Right.
Now, it doesn't actually matter. Like, reproach away, my friend, take out the Dominator drone or whatever. But, yeah, in comes the team. So, stage 1 complete. And this is where Libang has to say, oh, that's what you were doing. I thought you were dirtling around on the ground, and I thought maybe, he could have easily thought he was going to face an Eldrazi of some sort this turn, right? Now, 8 mana for Daniel, and he could have easily just said, oh, here's an 8/9 trample, go. In which case, Libang would be much happier attacking in the air. And there's the, not the Reproach.
Encircling Fissure.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, you see, got to 3 mana and just negated.
Well, yeah, he had to sacrifice the
Yeah.
additional Scion.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, that's insane. Wow,
Yeah.
that card is so good against Daniel. It basically just completely blanks one of his.
It counters Swarm Surge.
Yeah.
It's a direct counter in a sense.
Exactly.
His
And
Pilgrim's Eye for Kachetti,
not bad.
who gears up with the Plains, which will enable his Shambling Vent to become live. Alive? Both.
Yeah, Circling Fissure's great. It's pretty good in general, but it's really good against Daniel.
Yeah, it's nice to bring you a cool deck to end the day.
I like that.
We are going to see Frank Karsten and Ashwin Ugal and Andrew Ellenbogen and Sam Pardee and Willie Adel and Reed Duke. Plenty tomorrow, because at least 3 of those are going to be 9-0. You'll see them drafting tomorrow morning. We'll record the first draft of the day. We're going to be live at 10 a.m. Tomorrow for you, round about then.
All right, Libang looks like he wants to go to attacks here. He's considering crunching in for 5 in the air, but now he's looking at it like, now, wait a minute.
The thing is, I mean, Swarm Surge is a marginal card. Is it a card that, having had it hit you once, you think, oh, maybe he's playing second?
Hell no.
Well, quite. So.
No, yeah, you're just, we have a sort of a tongue-in-cheek saying in Magic, they never play around the second one. And I think that's actually true in this case. Like, you just wouldn't assume it. But I will say that sitting in the seat, you do have to ask yourself, what if?
Right.
He just fired that one off. It wasn't for lethal. It was for a good hit. What if he does have another? Is there anything I can do about it? And I think in the answer to that question in this case is no, not really. So I think you just proceed as normal.
So Halimar Tidecaller comes
I'm
down.
assuming he got back that Encircling Fissure. I didn't quite see, though. Now, he does not have enough mana to recast it this time.
No Scion anymore. And from Cechetti's point of view, this game is meant to have been finished. So he's now going, why am I still here? There you see him.
GP champ Daniel Cecchetti. Won a GP.
Right.
Yeah, this last year here, too. Mm-hmm. He also played, of course, on the U.S. national team at the World Magic Cup.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a nice little career going.
13, I think.
So won in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Which I think was 20.
Yeah, because it wasn't.
They all blend together.
Well, the thing is, it wasn't 2012, Marshall.
No.
Because in 2012, the American team had a certain episode with a certain card.
I remember it.
Yeah, that was 2012. I remember it well. Very
I do
well.
too.
Very sad. It was very sad. Very sad. Tears.
Yeah, I'm sure you're just broken up.
I'm really hurt.
Yeah.
I'm hurt and I'm all weepy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that. You can see this game has gotten quite tight here. Cecchetti's fallen all the way down to 8 and does not have another Swarm Surge from what I can see of
No,
his hand.
I don't believe he does.
Yeah, and so, you know, even if Libang had considered, oh, well, what if he could have it again, he's decided not to play around it in any case and just kind of empty out his hand a bit. So there is an attack here from Daniel, though.
And it's going to be tandem tactics.
Yep.
Gain 2 life, and my guys get bigger.
All right, so land down. Cecchetti does jump up to 10, though, thanks to the lifelink.
Right.
Libang's up to 12 now. And that's called a Scion.
It is, so 2 more 1/1s.
Yeah, I mean, he's done a good job of the,
Here
the
I
going
am
wide.
again. I mean,
yeah.
And I mean, as we know, he has 3 of these still waiting to happen. So, he's certainly not drawing dead Kachetti, and he is right now 7 creatures to 4 ahead, in a sense.
Oh, this is going to let Libang Yu
But,
get in. Yeah. Still not lethal, though, right? That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage that he would be hitting for here.
I think the white is probably my favorite of that cycle of lands. The +1/+1 vigilance.
Yeah.
I like the red a lot as well, but I think this is probably just shades it.
So is it too late for Cecchetti? Can he find his way out of this?
Oh.
Yeah, looks like he's going to line up the old get in there with the team play here. Except for Pilgrim's Eye.
Yeah, so I'm going to block there and there, says Libang Yu.
And this is going to be an Awoken Encircling Fissure. And, you know, he knew he had that in his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. This is interesting matchup, Rich. You know, the ability for Libang Yu, he's got it main deck. You know he's going to keep it in there. And then the ability to buy it back is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Because Daniel is really looking to go off with those Swarm Surges, and if he knows that Libang has it in his hand, it just blanks it.
Now, we would love to show you Game 2 of Kachetti in action, but we did get as far as seeing the Swarm Surge and what that deck does. So what I want to do is take you across to the match on the back table, and that is Willie Adel against Reed Duke. Now, they are both at 8-0. You can see them shuffling for their Game 2, and that is what we're going to watch next. We're going to see their Game 2 for you here as we wait to see who is getting into total success. I thought for a moment we were watching Turbo.
Gee,
here.
is that Frank?
No, that's not Turbo. That's Reed Duke just pile
Oh, that's
shuffling.
Reed. Oh, my God.
That's Reed just pile shuffling against Willie for game 2.
Willie looks like he's going a little bit different pace than Reed.
Yeah. Don't forget to tune in for Pro Tour Battle for Zendikar, October 16 through 18. That is this coming Friday. We are less than a week away from the first Pro Tour of the new fledgling Magic the Gathering season. We already have a world champion, of course, Seth Manfield. And now we get ready for round 9, game number 2 with Willie Adel 1-0 up over Reed Duke. So 2 real heavyweights, a fantastic weekend guaranteed for Willie coming up because he will be inducted into the Magic the Gathering Pro Tour Hall of Fame alongside Shota Yasuoka and Eric Froelich. That's going to be a really fun evening Wednesday in Milwaukee, and you'll see the highlights of that award ceremony and Hall of Fame dinner during our Pro Tour coverage coming to you live from Milwaukee Friday, Saturday, Sunday next week.
I think I'm going to be able to sneak into that dinner.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They're going to let you be a waiter?
No, I'm going to be a guest.
A guest?
Yeah, one of the
pretty
inductees
exciting.
has invited me.
Oh, are you Ephro's significant other? Congratulations.
I think his actual significant other is going in that
Oh,
spot. I think.
You're slightly less significant other.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a little lower on the list
Fair enough.
than she is. But
No, that's wonderful. It's
the real question is significant enough. and I think I made that cut,
Right.
so we'll see.
Yeah, that was the significant bit.
Are you going to be playing the piano there?
I will be playing many songs at that event.
I think
yes.
a lot of people don't know how much of that other stuff you do, Rich. You don't really talk about
No.
it, but
It's
you
true.
know,
Well,
I've had a chance to see Rich play on the piano multiple times, and I think twice And he plays beautifully.
Well, it's on the podcast.
Mind-blowing
right?
stuff. It's on. I recorded it.
The pain and suffering episode.
Yeah.
We play that in and out.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I brought that in, and I even brought it in for the outro. And I recorded that music live. Rich was playing that in the hotel lobby in Atlanta, Georgia, and
Yeah.
people were coming around to watch. It was really cool.
We had fun.
I was looking underneath the piano to see if you just hit some play button or
Yeah,
something. I was
indeed.
like, what is going on here?
All right, Willie's
by the way,
at
the
5.
chit chat is because Willie's going to 5.
Yes, 5. Yeah, you've not missed magic.
Yeah.
So Willie will kick off with planes. Reed instantly cracks his evolving wilds.
Players in the main event, as you finish your round, you are making it into the top players for us.
Willie has some pretty substantial Eldrazi going on. There's a Breaker of Armies, there's an Eldrazi Devastator, double Kozilek's Channeler to help him get there, a Ruin Processor. You can see why he's playing his Titan's Presence. And this is the first time I've seen Carrier Thrall in play. Willie just checks what's going to happen. Well, what's going to happen is you're going to kill it, and because you exile it,
Yeah.
no token for you. No Scion Read, I'm afraid. Fellow Cup from the American passes back to Adel, who gets to 4 mana and says, here's a Vestige of Emrakul, 3/4 trample.
Yeah, it makes the filler arc look small. It's going to be tough to. It's going to be tough to attack through the Vestige of Emrakul here.
For those of you who like Marshall, say your goodbyes. When this stream goes dead, so does Marshall. You know I'm in the chat room too, Marshall.
I didn't know.
Right here, sitting beside you, watching the same chat that you are.
I didn't know you were in it.
Akum Stonewaker from Willie Adel.
Yeah, that one could actually start applying some pressure here. Though the Scion there is going to be a little bit annoying. But still, you know, remember, this is a scenario where Willie has mulliganed to 5. And the Akum Stonewaker is actually a reasonable card here, because if he just kind of keeps drawing new lands, he can start sending in 3/1s turn after turn, and it gives him a place to put his mana in the case that he can't actually use it to affect the board or cast another spell. And on this board, it's fine. I mean, sending in 3/1s, hey, even if it trades for a Scion, at least you're getting something out of your turn.
Yeah, 3 mana is the reasonably steep cost on the activation for Akum Stonewaker.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
But it is a 3/1 with trample and haste, not just haste, has trample as well, before it gets sent away at the beginning of the next end step. You have a message in chat, Marshall.
See that.
Both at 20 right now. Reed potentially is about to go above 20 for the Stonehaven Medic has its way. But Willie is going to attempt to trample downwards. In comes Vestige of Emrakul.
Willie's mounting a fight here.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
He is ahead on board, even if it is slightly here. He has not hit a land to activate that Stonewaker yet.
Okay. One of the things I enjoy about the different formats in Magic is the way that physically cards look on the battlefield different by format. So in Theros block, we saw a very... you saw cards physically placed underneath and on top of other cards in the way that they were stacked with Bestow. You stack up 3. And then there are other formats where everything is going super wide. And so you see just physically on the screen, you see a wider expanse used. And what I've noticed here is we've seen round after round of 1 thing attacking and 3 and 4 things blocking. The amount of times that people are ordering their blockers is really considerable in this format. Whether that's true in draft, I'm not so sure. But in sealed, there's an awful lot of my 1, your 4. Now let's see what happens.
So what happened there was 2 creatures died. The Felidar Cub and the Eldrazi Scion for Reed hit the bin. But that did end up trading off for the Vestige of Emrakul. The thing is, Willie just had another one. So he's just replayed it.
So still 4 cards in hand for Adel.
Interesting scenario here for Willie. He, again, he has now hit a land, so it looks like he's going to use his Stonewaker this time.
Yes, he is. So here comes 3/1 Trample Haste.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to go ahead and get right in there.
Which could just trade for the Stonehaven Medic if that's what Reed wanted to do. Reed could then gain a life on the way out if he wanted.
You know, Royal's Retribution is another card that you know Willie will have to consider in this scenario. As it turns out, it's a stasis snare for Reed Duke. But you know, Reed passing with 5 mana up is going to send some type of red flags that could be a Royal's Retribution in line, and that would have been bad. I mean, it would have meant that Reed takes 0 damage and he would have killed both of the creatures. But that's not what it was. It was stasis snare instead.
Yeah, and this is not a game, because Willie started at 5 particularly, that we want to see card advantage for Reed. You actually want to balance it out the other way. That would be backbreaking. This is Angel of Renewal, which is not necessarily backbreaking, but is a very powerful card. It's gained Reed a little bit of life and now is a 4/4 flyer. Willie has bonus mana in the form of Kozilek's Channeler, which I'm going to run out there, Marshall, is the single most played card outside basic land in the format.
Which card?
Kozilek's Channeler.
Yeah. It's a common.
There isn't
almost every deck wants it.
Yeah, I cannot imagine a deck. The only deck that couldn't want it is a super surreal red-white or red-black aggro deck that was trying to run 16 land off 1 to 3 drops.
I'm trying to come
Otherwise,
up with
you
one.
want a 4/4 for 5.
Yeah.
I think it.
I think you're right.
I think it is just the single most ubiquitous card in the set.
I think you're totally right.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking at the color. It's going to be a colorless card either way, and that's the one.
It has to be that, right?
Yeah, at common, yeah.
Yep. Here's a Ruin Processor, which is close in some ways, because most decks, I think most decks want one of those in, just because they generally can get to 7 somehow, even if they're not dedicated to getting up to huge mana. We have not seen many games outside people with mana issues where the game is ending with 3 or 4 land in play. It looks much more like this, with 6 and 7s floating about.
Yeah, it's interesting how this board is developed. There was some seesawing back and forth as far as who was actually ahead, and it's relatively stable now. And both players, have 6 or 7 lands going. In fact, both players have 6 lands on the battlefield. But you can see the difference between a mulligan and not a mulligan, in that Willie has got 2 cards going to 3, and Reed is sitting on 6 cards in hand.
Oh my lord!
Right. So that's the question, right? Is where do we go from here? Because if Reed has 6 spells in his hand, and even if Willie has 3 spells, including the one that he drew this turn, it's going to be pretty tough for him to fight through unless he has some of his very best stuff. Now he's got a Rune Processor down. That's nice. He's got a Kozilek's Channeler. That's good here too. And he's going to crunch.
I mean, that's half of Reed's 23 life. Well, it isn't. It's 48 point something %, but you know what I mean.
Well, there's a block.
Encircling Fissure.
Encircling Fissure. Now he's just going to cast it. It's kind of interesting. He has the ability to awaken it, but he doesn't. So what is he up to? What is Reed Duke up to here?
3 mana right now.
Yeah, Willie is now, racking his brain on this. Oh, it's a new set. What's going on? He wants to gain a life. Okay, that's fine. Man, that's all he wanted to do.
Yeah. I mean, now maybe we're going to see something like Sheer Drop to take out a Ruin Processor. Not knowing whether Reed has one in his hand right now, but... oh, okay.
Ooh.
It's time for the Oblivion's Hour, or Oblivion Sower. 4 cards go away off our screen. Serpentine Spike
Wow.
was there. Now, don't get confused, anyone at home who's going, wow, that card is so powerful. Look, it got rid of Serpentine Spike. And, the Serpentine Spike could have been anywhere in the deck. But the fact remains that 2 land have arrived, bonus, for Reed. Kind of doing Willie a favor in some ways, because I imagine that at 6 land plus Kozilek's Channeler, Willie is not really in the market for more mana right now. But he would have been in the market for a Serpentine Spike. Let's say, 2 damage to my Channeler, 3 damage to your Medic, 4 damage to your Angel of Renewal. That would have seemed perfectly acceptable, thank you. Not going to happen. Willie puts a 7/8 into a 5/8.
Snap blocks.
Boing,
Yeah.
boing, 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 boing.
Does he have a way to finish it off?
It only needs 1 damage. It's like boiling earth. Really?
Looks like they're just double checking that block happened, but it did.
Players Brian Spellman and Jeff Higgins. Brian Spellman and Jeff Higgins.
Closing in on the end of day 1. This is our last round from GP Madison. Hope you've enjoyed the day in the company of Randy Bueller, who's now snoozing somewhere quietly, I imagine. Marshall Sutcliffe, me, Rich Hagan, and we do have a way.
Wow.
We do have a way to finish it off. And, by the way, some other stuff. Now, here's the question. He's got 4. Does he put all 4 on the Oblivion Sower? Because Lithamantha's Focus would be bad news.
Yeah.
Because if he just puts 1, then Lithamantha's Focus does him out of the Oblivion Sower. Or does he say, I'm going to spend 4, so I'm going to do 1 to the Oblivion Sower, kill it, 3 to the Stonehaven Medic, kill it.
I would probably get greedy. I mean, remember, Willie is in a situation where he had to mulligan down to 5. I think Reed's got 4 cards in his hand, and I think he just needs to get a little greedy here.
Oh, he's got more, of course, because he's got enough with he used the Channeler as well.
Oh, so he's actually got it
So
for
he's-
6 then?
Yeah, so he's trying to kill the Angel and...
Yeah, I would
Yeah, there we go.
definitely do that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it succeeds.
Wow. So this is
sorry,
how
everyone.
Willie gets back in this game, by the way.
Yeah.
His Serpentine Spike was exiled there, so he's not going to be able to do that. But getting a 2-for-1 on a 6-drop and, 8 or 7, I mean, that is a ton of return going back in the direction of Willie Adel as far as mana efficiency and card advantage goes. So he's actually just brought himself back. I mean, that was 12 mana that he erased off the board there.
Yeah.
And huge, too. I mean, 4/4 flyer that was going to kill him, in not too many turns. And, of course, Oblivion Sower is just massive. So that turn was great for Willie Adel.
It was. But the question is, what does Reed have that he can still have 6 cards in hand?
I know. That's
Yeah,
been kind of the question
like-
the whole time. Is like, what is going on?
Right. So at some point, given that Reed is at 25, you have to imagine that those 6 cards plus the next 4 or 5 that he's going to be gradually drawing, his Rising Miasma.
It's not going to do
to,
much here. All right, well, that's tricky.
Little combo there. Turn the Kozilek's Channeler into a 2/2 and then completely disregard it.
Yeah, so he picks up
Oh.
a 2-for-2 there. That was fine.
Mhm.
But it doesn't solve his main problem.
Which is a ruin process.
Right. It's huge. It's hard to kill, and it is actually going to do short work of Reduke if he doesn't find an answer for it pretty quickly.
Here's Ondu Greathorn. 2/3 becomes 4/5 first strike. Already first strike, but 2/3 into 4/5 first strike. Very powerful when it's on offense.
Merely reasonable on defense.
Yeah.
All right, well, another complete disregard. So the picture on what Reed was holding that whole time is starting to come into focus. He was holding a bunch of removal, yeah, that he couldn't use to kill the big stuff that
Yeah.
Willie had out.
Kill the small stuff. This is dutiful return. Is it?
Yeah, wow,
It
he's
is.
grinding.
Oof.
That's insane. I think that Reed probably saw, Serpentine Spike and brought in Doodle for return. Maybe he even knows about the Rolling Thunder, and he says,
Right.
look, if you're going to sweep my board, I got to find a way to get back in the game
To
after you do it.
unsweep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're at the time of year where avoiding the sweep is quite a big deal.
We are indeed. Rune Processor continues to crunch in there for big chunks of damage. And what Reed needs to do is either find an answer to that or find a threat that is bigger. Now, he just got those 2 cards back from his yard. Let's see what they were.
Right, so there's Angel of Renewal, one presumes.
Yeah.
And Oblivion Sower.
That's what I would assume he got. He might be able to play both this turn.
Especially if he gets some land from Oblivion Sower.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, so there we
He
go.
hit 2.
Mountain and Plains. Ghostly Sentinel went away from Willie. Didn't see the other card.
So that leaves him with 5 mana available currently. Well, Reed's at 13, and it looks like his long-term grindy plan is going to be pretty good for him here.
Hagra Sharpshooter.
All right.
And that is what we call in the trade a mana sink. Because he's
can
got
activate
10
it
mana.
twice, yeah.
He's right there straight away. If you make anything, Willie, that is 2 toughness or less, it's just machine gun dead.
Absolutely. And now Willie just has to pass the turn back. And, you know, Reed finally able to deploy a bunch of the cards that he had kind of had in his hand for a while to help mitigate the board. And now he's just turned the corner in a huge way here.
Yeah. And this is kind of what we talked about. That we said, look, yes, Willie has stabilized. He's got ahead. This is all great. But Reed had 6 cards in hand. And the fact that they weren't all especially powerful or even seen to their best effect. Here's Angel of Renewal. He's going to be right back up, heading towards 20 where he started out. That Rune Processor is starting to look a little bit lonely. It already cannot attack in the Oblivion Sower alone. Was that bounce, as we saw earlier in the game. And Reed has, one would think, kind of all the answers.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Willie's going to need some type of huge effect here to get him out of this.
Well, here's 8. What, like a planar
I was thinking of maybe a planar
Wait,
outburst or something
wait.
along those lines if you're amenable to it. My goodness.
Oh,
this has been
Lord.
such a swingy game. Remember, this is one where Willie mulliganed to 5.
This is the best.
And there's Gideon's Reproach to kill the land, so now we're back to even again.
Okay, how many cards have they got left now? This, by the way, is the last match. This is Shambling Vent, which can gain Reed some life. And now here's an Eldrazi Devastator for Willie
Wow.
Adel. Oh, my good.
Oh!
Come on now. This is
great.
magic.
Scour from existence.
Fantastic. Activate my Shambling Vent. And the thing is, you know that Reed's sitting there just so calm in the midst of this utter maelstrom of carnage.
Wow, I really thought that Reed had turned the corner with that dutiful return. And now Willie Adel shows us what card advantage is all about. Getting a 5-for-1, and now somehow he's the one who's behind.
Calastrian Nightwatch. So Willie had Rolling Thunder, Serpentine Spike, and Planar Outburst. Shockingly, one of the finest players who's about to enter the Hall of Fame managed to get to 8-0 with a deck that had those cards in.
Yeah, his deck is
He's
great.
going to smite the monstrous here. Now, oh, goodness gracious me. Now here comes Firemantle Mage, which will give menace to things, but
Yeah,
that's
it's
not
just-
a lot of use right now.
Yeah, he doesn't need much here to stabilize this board. It's really just Shambling Vent, so he just needs, you know, something of reasonable size here.
Yep. Well, Pilgrim's Eye is not a reasonable size.
It's close enough. It lets him double block and trade only 1 creature off now.
right.
You're right, on its own it wouldn't be, but now
No,
he has stabilized the board.
Sufficient.
Yeah. His library has gotten very small, by the way, has Willie Adel's. Reed just knocks the top of the deck there. I'm sure these guys have played against each other many times.
Yeah. Wonder if Reed's got a Planar Outburst.
Let me look.
Don't tell them. Just look. Just don't
Okay,
tell
I looked.
Right. Tandem Tactics from Reed. Gain some
Okay.
more life. How much life has he gained
Okay.
this game?
He's up to 30.
30 plays 7. I love Willie dearly, but I would really enjoy to see Reed Duke win this because this is the last match of the round.
Well,
and
there's 2 turns to go.
and I would like to see a game 3. So, well, no, there could be a lot of turns to
Oh,
go.
there's a spawning bed.
Yes.
So a nice draw there from Willie. That does stabilize his board here. And it puts the onus on Reed to come up with another threat. And, yeah, Reed's just going to ship the turn back. Question is, does Willie crack it? This is kind of interesting because if he does, he opens it up to getting hit by sorcery speed removal of different types. And since he figures, I've probably got enough mana to do whatever I want, it doesn't matter anyway. And, yeah, he's down to 3 cards in library. Rich, this one's done.
It's not enough.
He can't win this game.
People are starting to get excited and go, where's my Felidar Sovereign for Reed? Let's have a Felidar Sovereign win.
He's winning either way.
That is a Gideon ally of Zendikar. This
game has been absurd.
Wait. That Gideon, was that seen in game 1, I wonder? Because if it wasn't, why do you do that there?
What do you mean?
Just
because he's going to win anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like if that wasn't seen in game 1, like that has taken us by surprise. I mean, not literally because we do have a deck list, but
that's interesting.
Maybe I think I would assume that it was seen in game 1. Which is weird because Gideon usually wins the game, and Willie won game 1. So
yeah, wow. All right, well we're gonna get a game 3, right? Yeah,
certainly are.
Are you excited?
Oh, the biggest way. That game was wonderful.
That was crazy.
That was just wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah, I just think that was tremendous. That's certainly been the best game of Magic I've seen today on camera.
Oh, it was super swingy, super fun game. I mean, I know I've said it, but I keep going back that was the game where Willie mulliganed to 5.
Yes.
You know, he was dirtling around doing nothing with that Stonewaker and, missed his 5th land drop multiple times. And then all of a sudden, the Haymakers came out, and they were just throwing stuff at each other left and right.
You see Reed in the Pantheon shirt there. This is a bit of a departure for them.
It is
to actually, more an arrival than a departure.
Yeah,
because they are here, and that is something that they haven't really done. For those of you who haven't really been on a pro testing team, the way that the Magic season works, Pro Tours are so important to your season because you can pick up a pro point or two at a Grand Prix with a good finish. Finishing 25th at a Grand Prix. That gets you some points, it gets you some cash. But Pro Tours, you can win $40,000. You can win 30 pro points. You can win guaranteed platinum through the rest of this season and all of the next. And because this is the first of this new season, that's 2 years worth of invites to the Pro Tour with all the platinum benefits of $3,000 appearance fee at every PT. This is just vast. So every hour from when Battle for Zendikar comes out to when they sit down for round 1 is being very carefully husbanded by the really serious players.
Oh yeah, spreadsheets are involved.
Right. And therefore there is this question of, should you be sitting in a feature match area playing Willie Adel on camera, or should you be in a testing house in Milwaukee with only your teammates, learning draft, discussing the sideboard to the new standard deck that you think is going to win the Pro Tour? And in the last few iterations of the PT, the Pantheon have felt the correct answer is, air quotes, it's only a GP, and the testing is more important. And here, Andrew Cuneo in particular, and some of the others have gone, you know what, I think we're maybe missing out. And the fact that it's limited testing, it's not like we're wasting our time on fake standard decks that we can't unveil our real standard decks. This is, I'm going to play and get a lot of practice against high-level people, especially tomorrow. I mean, either of these guys, one of them will be on table 1 in the morning. The other one could easily be still at 8-1. And these two, you want to be drafting against tremendous players in a real environment where I'm not just going, if I'm 8-1 at a GP, I don't come in the next day and go, I might just have a fiddle around to see whether I can make the black-white life gain deck work. I'm going to sit down and really seriously try and do the business, which is what these two people are going to do right now for us in the final game of the final round here on day 1 of Grand Prix Madison. Rich and Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with you. Felidar Cub is going to be first play, yeah.
And right away, quick starts from both players here with 2 drops right on time for both of them.
Reed goes Nakana Assassin. 2-3 gets itself Death Touch.
Card's all right.
It's not super exciting, but actually in Reed's deck there's so much life gain. A lot of the time not a lot of the time, it will trigger quite a lot more than in other decks that we've seen with that card in. It's a pretty ordinary card. Against this board, McKindy Slide Runner is also a pretty ordinary card. And already, as we see Complete Disregard take out the Castigator, already we're starting to see the shape of a game that could involve many of those haymakers we saw before. Rolling Thunders, Serpentine Spikes, Planar Outbursts.
Yeah, there's a Pilgrim's Eye for Willie Adel, kind of moving his game plan forward.
It's a Plains again for him. Very little splashing going on today, Marshall. Here we are. We're at the back end of Seal. We'll be focusing on draft tomorrow, but that's one of my big takeaways.
I expected more.
Right.
I did. I expected more splashing that we saw. I thought the Pilgrim's Eyes and the Evolving Wilds of the world were going to enable splashes for, bomb rares that were gold but shared a color or single color off, oh, I'm playing my Drowner of Hope in my, green-black deck or whatever. But it hasn't happened that often. People have pretty much kept it tight.
Yeah, there aren't that many of those cards. That just, because so often the card that looks like it wants to splash, so you said Drowner of Hope. All right, well, yes, you could put that as a splash in a red-white deck if you had a couple of Evolving Wilds, but where are your Scions coming from that make its ability powerful? So it kind of disqualifies it from some color pairs, and I think a lot of the rares are like that. They have relatively narrow homes, and I think that's one of the reasons we've seen more 2 than 2+ splash. But still early, and you get the chance to shape the format yourselves when you play Sealed at F&M or PPTQs coming up. Best of luck with your cracking the 6-packs. Tomorrow, we'll be cracking one at a time in draft. So Reed, thinking about attacks here. 4 cards in hand. And in goes Nakana Assassin and Faladar Cub. And Willie will just take the damage. Takes 4 and drops to 12. Landfall.
He played a spawning bed.
Yep. And that Ghostly Sentinel is going away. You saw a little bit of glare. The clue was the Vigilance. 3/3 Flying and Vigilance, and now 3/3 dead. Flying Vigilance in Adel's graveyard. And we've got a Faladar Cub coming back the other way.
That might have come in out of the sideboard for Willie after he saw Stasis Snare.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's got it main deck anyway.
Well, he's pretty aggressive. I mean, that's where red-white sort of sits, and it's a perfectly reasonable 2-drop. And Reed's going to repeat his attack by the looks of things, despite a slightly different board on Adel's side. And Cub trades for Cub.
Grave Birthing for Reduke. Since it's an instant, it allowed him to get an extra Scion, which he's going to use to double block.
Mm-hmm. Which is
the
now
slide
enough
runner.
to kill, and I'm going to gain a life, and they're going, yeah, you're doing that, yeah, sure, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, just enable the trade there.
And then here's a Rune Processor.
Boom.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Things
you're
big.
you're 1/3 and you're 1/1 trade for my it's my 2/1 that's actually a 3. 7/8.
Boom.
7/8.
Yeah, that thing is huge.
It really is.
Well, Stasis Snare is going to take care of it now that the Faladar Cub's gone. Willie Adel could be running low on gasoline here. He's He's down to 10 life. We see he's got that spawning bed still. That's ready to go if he wants to take a turn to do that, or if he doesn't have anything better to do with his mana. And it doesn't look bad here either.
Yeah, Stasis Snare is really good. That is not news, I appreciate, to many of you.
So right now what's happening is Willie Adel's flooding out a little bit. He's sitting on 8 lands on the battlefield. Did not use the spawning bed there. Wow, that's interesting. He must be planar whatever.
Planar outburst.
Outbursting,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, it has. That's the only thing that it could really be. I think that once Reed sees that, no, I'm not going to use my spawning bed, that is really bad news for Reed, as he just had played a 5-drop, the Colostria Nightwatch, and it gets swept away along with everything else. Adel's down to 7, but as you can see, Reed Duke's on 12, and now there's a 4/4 creature for Willie.
So he is due to full return.
The grind is real here with Reed. He knows how this game plays out. He knows that Willie is full of sweepers, and he's adjusted by putting in Dutiful Return. I think it's a great sideboard card.
And what he's got back is the combo.
What did he get back?
He got back Stonehaven Medic, taps to gain 1 life, and Colostria Nightwatch.
Wow, that's great.
It's a 4/5. It gains flying when you gain life.
2-turn clock. It's going to take him a while to do it, though, because he's got not enough mana, but still.
But still, it is a just straight up 2-card combo right there. And on your way there, you just make the Colostria Nightwatch and go, this blocks your 4/4.
Now, this is kind of interesting here from Willie. Looks like he's played a Core Castigator there. But he did not decide to use that spawning bed, which would have given him the same thing as far as power level goes, but more spread out. And we see why. It's Smite the Monstrous. Now he's going to get Reed down to 1 here.
And he's got spawning bed.
Does feel like
this
a difficult position
surely.
for Reed. Look at all those cards in his hand. You know, the problem here is that he's hit a wall on mana.
Yep. 5 mana, not sufficient. Stonehaven Medic passed the turn. There's like 1 trick there.
Yeah, but Reed did show him the trick that matters in circling Fisher.
Bed, right. Well, Reed has to represent it at the very least.
Indeed, but Willie is under no obligation to respect it, and he's just going to jam with the team here. Even if he hasn't,
there it is.
Wow.
Willie Adel of Brazil, Hall of Fame elect, just 4 days away from getting in there, goes to 9-0. 9-0 for Willie Adel. Reed Duke goes to 8-1. They'll both come back tomorrow.
That's Owen.
See, Sam Pardy on the left, noted modern player, but here with Sealed, and Andrew Ellenbogen on the right. We're going to start off with Stonehaven Medic and Incubator Drone and Scion. Here's Hedron Archive.
Love that card.
Yeah, and I love the artwork on that as well.
I don't think I've looked at it yet.
No, well, you spike you. But actually, to be fair, you actually pay attention to a lot of the art, I know.
Yeah, it's true. I do like a lot of the artwork. That one actually does look pretty cool. The thing I really like about it is that it draws me 2 cards after I cast all my big stuff.
So Benthic Infiltrator has come down. Incubated Drone, as we said. Oracle of Dust now is down in the Lotus position. I think that's what that's called.
This is a sweet attack here. The Channeler got Vigilance.
Right.
From the
From
ally.
the McKindy.
Yeah.
And then we've got Drana's Emissary down here saying in black-white, let's swap lives periodically. If you have good eyesight, you can actually get the life totals on this match because obligingly Andrew Ellenbogen is writing them down on the bottom right of your screen.
I got to say, Sam is really kind of curving out with the allies here at this point. You know, this is starting to come together to be one of those kind of scary ally curves that we'll probably see more of tomorrow in the booster draft portion rather than today, but he's kind of putting it together here.
Yeah, we saw a Tandem Tactics a couple of turns back. Things are obviously wading through at a ferocious pace here. Gideon's Reproach works there. Here's Maya's Malice from Sam. Awaken with one of the lovely Hedrons. Hedron dice. Ghostly Sentinel.
Does he have another ally?
He has a Courier Griffin and
He kind of saved the weird stuff for the end.
Right.
Sludge Crawler there, too. Well, he's got a decent amount of mana here to pump it.
Right. I mean, it's a 4/4.
Yeah.
Potentially.
It's reasonable.
Or actually, even a 5/5, because he can use his Awakened land as well. He's got 8 mana sitting there. So that's a 5/5 attacker, it turns out.
Yeah.
Which would just take out any one thing, including the... And here's the shape of the format again.
Yep. We have seen a lot of triple blocks, quadruple blocks all day today. It's a pretty safe block to make. It is the downs. Ooh, Felidar Sovereign, by the way, for Andrew. Another Ghostly Sentinel hits the table. Ooh.
Right.
Oh, I can see where this goes.
Yeah.
Helm Guide's going to start letting that guy get in there.
Mm-hmm.
Cancel that.
Yeah, go away.
That
sheer
was
drop.
a sweet play. Did you see what Sam did? He tapped it down.
Tapped it down and then sheer dropped.
And then sheer dropped it. That's pretty nice. Whoa, and here's a big attack from Sam.
Can you say Inspired Charge? No, it was just, I've got numbers.
I like your read. Look at his mana, but yeah,
Yeah.
beautifully he didn't even need it.
Yeah, there was a while there where I was thinking, this is going long, but no.
That was
So-
party, right?
Yeah, yep. So here we go. Game number 2. Nettle Drone lasted almost no time at all. Complete disregard. Courier Griffin on the left for Party. Vestige of Emrakul on the right for Ellenbogen. And Courier Griffin gains him a couple of life. His Ghostly Sentinel, 3/3 Flying Vigilance on the left for Party. Attack for 3. Does trample. That's Vile Aggregate. And that's an interesting card I have not seen today. Angelic Gift. Give it flying. Draw a card off it. I mean, a flying Vile Aggregate's a really serious thing.
It can get out of hand pretty quickly. Right now, it's not super big. It's
No.
only 2 power, but it can actually, when Andrew untaps, he can play 1 or 2 colorless creatures, and all of a sudden that thing's crunching in for 4 in the air, and it can get out of hand pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It's certainly doing a good job of holding back the Ghostly Sentinel as well, thanks to the 5 toughness. Uh-oh. Oh, jeez. Grip.
Yeah.
Grip of Desolation is
Yes.
a real beating here. We've seen that card multiple times in the feature match area, and every time it's been fantastic. It's a great card.
Gideon,
God.
ally of Zendikar.
Did I say great card too soon?
Well.
What happened? It
it's-
died immediately?
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like he burned
It
it
was
with Touch
touch.
of the Void. Yeah, wow, that's
Mhm.
nice. Jeez.
To the face, but not your face.
Yeah.
Pretty boy Gideon, get you gone.
There's that sheer drop again. It looks like Andrew may be turning the corner on this game pretty sharply here. Yeah, for sure. I mean, did you see what Sam did? He just basically cycled that thing, the Hedron archive. There's a lot of lands here, too. Ooh, there's a Drana.
Yeah.
Geez, nothing like the old Drana Gideon pool here, huh, for Sam Pardee?
No, and shockingly,
Wow.
he's at 8-0.
Yeah, he's at 8-0, and he, I mean, but to his credit, he won game 1 without seeing either of those cards.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, Sam is a certified limited player, no doubt about it. He drafts a lot.
And now I'd like, so that's a Conduit of
What
Ruin that
the
goes
heck?
Conduit of Ruin goes and gets
The Void
and
processor or Ruin processor?
Ruin Processor, yeah. Yeah, all of the fun.
Is that a good 1-2 punch?
Yeah, it really is.
I think it might be.
Mind you, Conduit of Ruin into Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger lost earlier on camera, so
Wow, okay.
it's not everything.
I will note that.
I mean, to be fair, Ulamog never got cast; it got shuffled away. But there we go. In a shocking turn of events, Sam Pardee, with all the powerful things in the world, goes to 9-0. So there you go. Turbo Magic here, A Battle for Zendikar.